Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm very excited to show you guys this. So this is a tunnel with a spaceship going through it. You can see this loopable animation. This is the exact thing I'm going to be showing you guys to make step by step. We will be downloading the spaceship from BlendSwap, which is free, and full credit to the person who made it. If you have your own spaceship, go ahead and use it. And the only reason I downloaded one is just to make it easier for the people who want to follow along, but they're not that into the modeling yet. So go ahead, that's in the link below. You guys are free to download it. It's free to create an account with BlendSwap. We'll use whatever ship you want, but it is in the link, just letting you guys know. So this is the scene you guys can see here. This is the whole thing. It's pretty easy. We're going to be using the Eevee render engine. It looks like a lot of modeling, but all it is just an array modifier that I've used here. And it's pretty straightforward. So I encourage you guys to keep watching. It's not that as intimidating as it looks. And like I said, the spaceship is already going to be made by somebody else. We're just downloading it. So without wasting any more time, let's get into this tutorial. Okay, so for brand new scene opened up in Blender 2.83, go ahead and delete the camera and the default lamp. What we want is our default cube here. And what we're going to do is go to object mode here and then go down to edit mode. So we're in our editing mode. Make sure you're in your front orthographic view. You don't really have to be, it's just I like to do that. And then with all of these vertices selected, we're going to go S and then hit X. And then we're going to type in 5. So just hit the 5 key and hit enter. So what this has done on the X axis here, it has now scaled our cube 5 times. And then what we're going to do is go hovering over here with this little pointer. We're going to go Control R. You're going to see it adds in a loop cut, so just click to add it in. And then we're going to go S, Z, and this is where we kind of scale it up to make the height of our tunnel corridor thing here. So I'm going to go with something like this. So can you guys, it doesn't have to be exactly the way I do it, just more or less. Okay, like that. Then we can go here to our edge, our face select, and select this guy, go X and delete the face, and the same with this. And if you hold in Shift, you can select all of them at the same time. Why is it not selecting? My mouse is acting a little bit funny. I think I might have to get a new one. But once you have all of them selected, go X and delete. So you should have something that looks like this. Go A to select everything. And then we're going to go S, Y and hit 4 and hit enter. So now it has scaled this 4 times on the Y axis. And with that done, we can go to our edge select here, deselect everything. Then we're going to select this edge here. We're going to go Control B and just pull our mouse. And if you see we move the mouse, we can increase or decrease this bevel. And if you roll the middle mouse wheel, you can also add in more cuts. But we're just going to leave it as it is, like this. Go to about something right about here. I might just go G, Z, just move it up a bit like that. S, X, scale it in. Just like that. Doesn't have to be exactly like I'm doing it. And then what we're going to do is go E, Z to extrude this down to about here. Go to your face select, select this face here, X and delete face, X and delete that face. Okay, that's really good. Now go to your edge select again. And we're just going to make a beveled edge here. So grab this guy here, holding in Shift, select this guy here. And then what you're going to go ahead and do is go Control B and just do the same thing we did earlier. But this time we can roll the middle mouse wheel just to add in some cuts like that. And I'm just going to smooth it out like that. And while we have those still selected, I'm going to go ahead just to my materials panel quickly. Just makes things a bit easier. Because we used our default cube, there's already going to be this default material that is applied to everything. So to see that material, just go to your viewport. Just give it a color, make it like darker so you can see what that material is. Then we're going to hit this little plus sign, go new, make a new material. And let's just call this one glow. And go here to your surface, and we're going to make it an emission. And go ahead and assign. So now, if we let go of this vertices, we're going to see there's a new material assigned. And if you go down to your viewport display, you can make this blue, because I think that's what I'm going to be going with in this tutorial. And you can also come up here to the emission color and just make it a blue. We'll mess around with the strength and everything later, but for now that is applied. And because we don't want to be doing double the work while we're making these little details, we can add the materials as we're working. Okay, that's good. So what we can do now is go Shift A, and while we're yet in edit mode, we're going to add in a cylinder here. Oh wait, I'm not in edit mode. Right, go out of here, grab this guy, and then go into edit mode. And now go Shift A, and we're going to add in a cylinder. Go to your front orthographic view, go R90, hit enter, and then GX, move it over here, and then scale it down. You can also go SX to scale it on the X, and then move it in a bit more. It doesn't have to be exactly like I'm doing it, as long as it's roughly there. You can then go to your edge select here, your face select, I'm sorry, and then you can go Control B, and we're going to make a bevel, so you can add in some cuts. And then grab this face in the middle, go E, S to extrude, and E to extrude in. And then E to extrude in again, and then E to extrude out. And I'm just scaling them as I go. So now I have something that looks like this. And if I go Shift Alt and I select this loop, I can go here to my glow material and assign, like that. And then all I have to simply do is, with this guy selected, go Control L to select all of those faces, and then go Shift D, X, move it over to here. And then over here, I'm going to go RZ 180, hit enter, and then just move it here. And we don't even have to mirror this because there's not going to be that much modeling going on here. So that's done over here. Deselect that. And then what we're going to do is go to edge select again, and we're just going to make this top flat as well. So we're going to go Control B and just roll the middle mouse wheel, so we don't want those cuts in there. We're going to go with something like this. And then we're going to go E to extrude it up like that. And then we're going to just go to our face select here, select this face, X and delete, select this face, X and delete. And maybe select this face here, go E, S, and X. And with this strip here, we're going to add in that glow material, assign. So you should now have something that looks like this. And if we go here to our render settings, and we make sure we're in Eevee, enable ambient occlusion. Something's on with my mouse today. And then the bloom, and the screen space reflections. So if we go now Z and go to rendered, we should see we have that glowing material. In fact, if we come here to our materials and we grab that glow and bring up the strength, we're going to see that glow increasing. Anyway, that's enough with that for now. Let's just actually get into our modifiers here. So with this guy still selected, go to your modifiers tab. And like you guys probably are guessing, we're going to be using our array modifier. And what we want to do is come over here to our X, make that 0, because by default it's got a value of 1. We want to come here to our Y, because we want to make it do an array on the Y. So go ahead and add a value of 1. And now we can see we have it duplicated. So if we come in here and we type in a number, you can increase it. We'll mess around with that a little bit later, but for now just something like 8 will be fine. Go to your front orthographic view, go to wireframe so you can actually see what's going on here. Then go Shift A and add in a camera. So there's your camera. You go G, Y, kind of move it back a bit, and then hit 0 to go into camera view and go to solid view. So you should see something like this. And the beauty about working with arrays, all you have to do is come in here and you can just select any faces you want to edit. So for example, I might want to bring this guy down a bit. So go into my camera view, G, Z, and just bring it down. So I can see in real time what it's looking like. Okay, so that's really good. I'm happy with this. What else did I do to make things a little bit different? I think what I did, I added in some panels here. So I'm going to show you how to make that material. It's pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is tab into edit mode, go to our face select, select this face, select this guy here as well. Holding in shift, select all of these four, like that. So once you have these four selected, go to your materials tab here. We're going to add in a new material, go new, and let's just call this panel. And hit enter, and what we're going to do is just make sure it's assigned. Okay, with that done, go to your shading, and this material is pretty straightforward. So what you're going to do is you're going to, with this panel material opened up here, you're going to go Shift A. We're going to search for a texture node, but a brick texture. So type in brick, get the brick texture, and then what we're going to do, get rid of this principled shader, so delete that principled shader. Then go Shift A, search, and get an emission shader. Put it over here. Plug the color into here. Then we're going to go Shift A, search. Oh, come on. What's it not? Okay, get a color ramp and put it in here. There's something going on with my mouse for some reason. I'll have to get a new one, but just bear with me. So when we come in here now and we render this, go Z and rendered. Okay, we're not seeing anything at the moment because we have to actually plug the emission into the surface, obviously. So we're going to see this at the moment. It's a bit of a mess, so we're going to drag this black value in and bring this guy in like this. And we're going to make this one whatever color you want your panels to be. I'm going to go with something like a Sci-Fi kind of blue for now. And just increase the strength here to something like 3.8 will be fine for now. And yeah, you can mess around with these sliders to add or take as many of these as you want. I'm going to go with something like that for now. That'll be fine. Then we can, while we're at it, just go here, go select this material, our original one. Let's just call this metal, because that's what it's supposed to be, metal. And this is take the metallic slider, drag that up all the way. Make the base color here black, almost black, not fully black. And just bring that roughness value down a bit, so we get some of that light being reflected by this metal material. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. I think that's all I did for this material. We can grab this guy here and just go to our modifiers and increase that array count. And I think with my original, I'll just quickly have a look what I did. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, with my original, I did 11 cuts, so make that 11, that'll work fine. And then what we're going to do is go Shift A, we're going to go to our mesh, add in a plane, go RX90, hit enter. And we're going to take this plane all the way to the back, so go G, Y, and move it all the way to the back here, like so. And just scale it up. So if you go into camera view, you should see that plane on the end. And I believe that I gave this, oh, actually, I don't think I made this any sort of material. I just left it as it is, and I went to my world settings, and I made it solid black, like that. So all you're going to see is it's dark, and there's a reason I'm putting that plane there. I'll explain that later on in the tutorial. So far we have this. I hope you guys were able to bear with me. I know my mouse has some issues, but you should have something that looks like this at the moment. I think these reflections on the metal are a bit intense, so I'm going to come here to my metal material. Just make the roughness a little bit less. Maybe make the color even a bit darker, like that. Okay, we can always mess around with that later, but we should have something that looks like this. I think that glow material might also be, on the panel, might be a little bit intense. So I might bring the strength of that down even a bit more. Okay, that's fine for now. So what we're going to do now is, in our next step, import the model that I put in the link below. Okay, so we're going to now append the spaceship model from the downloaded blend file. So once you've gone to blend swap, you've downloaded it, what it's going to do is save a zip file onto your computer. So wherever your downloads go ahead, grab that zip file, extract that zip, and as long as you know where that extracted zip file is, you can go ahead and append it into our scene. So what we're going to do is go File, go to Append, and then get that extracted zip file. So it's this one here on my desktop, low poly spaceship, go to simple spaceship, and then click on the blend file, wherever that blend file is. Then you're going to go to your object, and you're going to see it is the one called cube. So just select the cube and append. And you're going to now see our ship has been appended into the scene. And to make life a little bit easier for us, go ahead, select the ship, and then go Control I to inverse the selection. And then we're going to hit the M key and go New Collection. And you can see over here it's created a new collection, and we can just call this Scene if we want to. Hit Enter and just hit a little tick here to unhide that. So now we can bring everything back in if we need to. It just makes things a bit easier. So what we're going to do is select our ship, go to our materials, just get the little minus button here because we don't want this default material. Then go New. Call this one Ship. Just call it whatever. And this is going to be that wireframe material I showed you guys earlier when you saw in the intro. So I'm going to go to my shading, and what we're going to do is get our wireframe node. So go Shift A, search, come on, search, and get a wireframe. I'm going to put the wireframe node here, and then what we're going to do is plug it into actually an emission. So get rid of this principled and go Shift A, search for an emission shader, and we're going to plug the factor into the color, plug the emission into the surface. And then what we can do is come here, go Shift A and search, get ourselves a color ramp node, place the color ramp node in between the wireframe and the emission, like so. And now if we bring in this value here and we bring in this value here, and we make this white value whatever we want the emission color to be, say for example in this case I want it to be kind of like an orange, so I might go something like that. Might make the strength free. So if we go into our viewport here and go Z and go rendered, Oh, where is it in the camera view? This is what we have so far. So that's looking pretty awesome. And you can mess around with these settings all you want. So I'm going to go with something like that. Then if you come here to the wireframe and you want to have a bit more control over the thickness of this wire, what you can do is go pixel size. Just enable that. And then you can drag this slider to whatever you want. And if you hold in control, you can get a little bit more control. So I might just type it in 0.01. So 0.01 or 0.009 maybe even. So just play around with it till you get something you like. I'm going to go with 0.007, and the scale of your model will also affect that. So that should be fine. Let's go back to our solid here, and there's a few more materials we can add. So let's go to our materials tab here, hit the little plus. We're going to create a new one, just call it window. It's going to be our window material, and just get this guy here, and then tab into edit mode. What we're going to do is go to our face select. Just select these two faces here, and this guy is mirrored, so it'll automatically go to the other side. Get that window material and assign it. And all the window material is going to be is just like kind of like a bluish color with full metallic and the roughness all the way down. So if we go now and we go rendered, we're going to see that. And there isn't anything for it to reflect in the moment in our scene, so you're not going to be seeing anything. And then we're going to create one more material, new, and just call this glow 2. And we're going to make this just an emission. So go here to your principle and change that to emission. You can see it places an emission here. And just make that an orange color that kind of matches that orange and increase the strength quite a bit. So if we go now Z and go rendered. Now, yeah, I got to apply it first. So apply it to this face here. So go here and assign it. This inlet here. And you can come to the front here to this vent, select that. Pick whatever you want, add some more details to the ship, just make it your own. But I'm going to go with that just for this tutorial. So you can see we now have this nice glow. Go to my camera view. And if I go Alt, not Alt H, but if I go and click here on my scene to bring everything back in, voila, we can now see it is in our scene. So I might grab this guy, actually go back to the, for some reason I've renamed it. So just go back to your default scene and just scale it down. Bring it down to about here in the middle. So something like that, maybe a little bit bigger. Because remember, it's close to our camera, so. Okay, and then G, just move it back a bit. So this is what we should have at the moment. This spaceship, it looks like this, and then there's a really awesome tunnel. So our materials are pretty much done now. We can start getting into our animations. Okay, so the animation for this is really quick and easy. All we have to do is come over down here to our frames. You can see it starts at 1, ends at 250. Simply change the 250 to 80. And then what we're going to do is just make sure that this plane here is as close to the tunnel as we can get it. So to about here, that'll be fine. And then with this ship, we want to make sure we're in frame 1. So if you see here on our timeline, it starts at 1, ends at 80. A quick way to get it to frame 1 is just to go Shift and hit your left arrow button. And that's going to snap it to your frame 1 there. And then as long as you're in frame 1 and you got your ship selected, you can go G, Y, and just move your ship to here. Right here. And then go I. And then insert a location frame. So click here and you can see this little yellow tag that's now been added. That is a keyframe. Then simply go to the end here. A quick way to do it is go Shift and then the right arrow button. And then while you're on that frame, go G, Y, and just bring this guy all the way to the front here. As long as it's past our camera, it's okay. So right over here, you can go I and just insert a location key. Okay. And just to make sure this doesn't ease in and ease out, we don't want a Bezier curve, so just select both of these guys. And with them both selected, you'll see the yellow, go T, hit T, and then make it linear. Okay, now if we go to our camera view and we hit play, we're gonna see this. Like that was our animation. That was so easy, and you can just keep looping this and looping it. In fact, let me see if I can try and play this in real time. So I'm going to go to my rendered. It's going to be quite noisy, but let's just see what that looks like. This should look quite awesome. And the reason I put that black plane there is if I didn't put it there, you're going to kind of see it coming the whole time. Like it'll just appear all of a sudden in your animation. But with that black plane, it kind of just looks like it's coming out of the darkness. It works. It's just a little cheat trick. So that's why I put that plane there. So if you play this now, this is what you're going to see. Boom. Pretty awesome. Once we render this out, it's going to look less noisy and even cooler. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you guys how we render out this animation, it's pretty straightforward. So go to your little printer icon here, right? Click on it, go down to your output, very simple, click on this folder, and wherever you select on your computer, whether it be your desktop, I always recommend your desktop, it's a good place. Just accept a place on your computer for this video to be rendered out to. Your file format is currently set to PNG, just go ahead, make that FFmpeg, and where did that go? What did I do here? Oh yeah, for some reason I closed the output. My mouse is just acting up. So just open up the output. So I changed that to FFmpeg. If you go to encoding, you can make this container MP4, so MPEG-4, and just go to the video here, and all we want to change is the output quality, make this perceptually lossless. So just under this little printer icon, under the output, just those settings I just did. Pretty easy. It's set. It starts at 1, ends at 80. That's correct. It's 24 frames a second. Now, go ahead, save your scene. Just make sure you save it. That's very important. I'm just going to save mine on my desktop. I'm just going to call it animation. This is the animation part of this tutorial, and I'm going to save as. And now, just tab out, go to solid, and I'm going to go render and render the animation. And let's see what this looks like when it's done. It might take a little while, but let's just see. Okay, so here we have it. This is the final product. I hope you guys like it. I hope this has been informative. You've learned something. Make something cool. Share it with your friends. Share it with people on Instagram. I just hope you guys really enjoyed it. That's what matters, as long as you enjoy it. And if you guys also subscribe and you check out some other videos and you like them, that helps me a lot as well. And I do appreciate it when you guys do that. So